I watch a lot of Indian films as I can in the theater because I find them tremendously entertaining. But one genre that up to now I've never been able to experience in the theater is horror. So I just saw a new Indian horror film entitled SHAITAAN, and boy, did I have a good time with this. This is directed by Vikas Bahl, and it stars Ajay, Devgn, and Madhavan. And boy, I mean, this is a film that is so commercial. This could be remade for America pretty easily. I say remade because unfortunately American audiences tend to not want to see foreign films that are either dubbed or subtitled. I don't mind, so I like good movies, so I go to see them. And this was really cool. I went in knowing nothing about this movie other than it's an Indian horror film, and I was like, well, I've never seen one of those. Let's go. Story here goes a little something like this. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. Family, happy family, father, mother, upper teenage, I guess high school age daughter and her little brother are going off on a trip, going off to their vacation home, and it's a relatively fun and light film up to that point. The father is somewhat serious and stoic, but loves his family. The daughter is always looking to break free. She's looking to go off and spend some time with boys. She's a little boy crazy. She's a little rebellious. And the little brother is just like this techie kid who's always creating beats on his laptop or playing video games or dealing with his little video cameras and editing for home videos. And the mother is the one who's just sort of like trying to hold it all together. And it's a likable family. Likable cinematic family. They go to a little cafe and they're eating outside. They meet this seemingly very nice guy who helps them out by buying some tea when they don't have exact change. And he does, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, I'm going to tell you just a hint of what this movie is about. He gives the daughter something he doesn't want to finish on his plate. He gives the daughter, and suddenly she doesn't feel quite right. And after she eats this thing, anything that this kind stranger says, she automatically does. And you realize something is weird and something is up and something a little supernatural is going on. Now, this film opens, a lot of Indian films open with a disclaimer. They usually open saying this film does not condone the use of cigarettes. This does not condone alcohol. These are harmful. There's no animals were harmed. A lot of that stuff comes up at the beginning. This film is the first time I've ever seen a movie where a disclaimer comes up at the beginning of the film saying this movie does not condone the use of black magic. So this film is about black magic, and this kindly stranger, played by Madhavan, is super smiley, super nice guy who basically just wants the daughter of this family and uses his ability to control her every action to force the family and the parents into officially raising their hand and saying, we pledge our daughter to you. You can take her because apparently you're some guy who thinks he's going to be a god, and it's something is about to happen where he needs their daughter to become all powerful. So this movie gets, what's really good about this, what's really cool about this is you're never quite sure if this guy is crazy, if he somehow has the ability to hypnotize, if he really is some really evil demon being, or if he's just this normal guy who's looking to shake the family down for some cash and get their daughter. So it was really well done, really well shot. It's interesting in seeing how really dark this movie goes ultimately, how light it is at the beginning, how they really give you a sense of this family and make this family very likable so that you feel really bad when the bad stuff starts happening. It's kind of like a home invasion movie in a sense, because and I feel like I could equate this to other movies that I've seen, almost like it feels like some other American or English language films I've seen, but that's not important. It's good. I don't care if movies are similar to other movies as long as they're good. This I thought was very good. But although I do say, I was talking about this and a lot of the Indian films or foreign films that I see, or Hong Kong movies, whatever, sometimes I'll watch them and I'll love them. And I think, if this was an American movie done in English and it was exactly the same but with American actors, would I think this movie is garbage? I don't know, maybe. I think there's something about the membrane of it being foreign, or the membrane of it being from another country, that sometimes makes me more accepting or makes me more respectful toward a film than if it was just another American, horror movie or action movie or whatever. But really well shot, very compelling. Like, it's really edge of your seat. It's bite your knuckle stuff as you see these parents. And the whole time I'm like, just hit the guy, knock the guy out, do something to the guy. And you see him find ways to make them too afraid to do that. Where he has the daughter, he says, I can't remember her character name. It's close to Jenny. I was thinking, if they remade this, they would just name her Jenny. Javi, I think, something like that. He keeps saying to the daughter who's under his control, go grab a knife. Okay, put it against your throat. If your parents get close to you, kill yourself. So stuff like that. Or if I'm going to take a nap, if anybody comes close to me, stab them. And the girl is under such hypnosis, she can't not do that. So it's this struggle of you putting yourself in that situation, and how would you get around this? How would you take this guy out? You're not going to let this guy take your daughter, but you also don't want any of your family to be harmed. And certain times it is shown that the stakes are very, very serious in this movie with this crazy black magic guy. So it's a real edge of your seat nail biter kind of film. It's got really dramatic moments, really kind of horrifying moments. And I'm not going to say where this movie goes, but it goes in a direction I did not expect and is just nuts. It gets maybe a little silly, but really nuts at the end. This was really good. The problem with Indian films in America, the way we see them here, is that if you want to see them theatrically, like I always do, they're not in theaters for very long. They get booked into chain theaters like a Regal or an AMC are the only places I ever see playing these, and they play for a week, and they only play in areas with, I think, that these chains determine statistically there's a significant enough Indian population that will go see these that they book them. So only in my travels in New York and Pennsylvania have I ever had the opportunity to see these Indian films. I always go when I can. I have a great time. But if you see them playing, if you see anything I'm talking about playing near you and you're curious, go see it immediately because it's not going to be around very long. This film, I think I saw this on the last day it was playing locally. It did have a logo at the beginning that said, I think it was Amazon Prime. It was Prime or Netflix. Official streaming partner, which means that this will go to Prime or Netflix. So if I say that in one of these reviews, know that you'll be able to see it that way, and probably exclusively just there, not on other streaming services. But most people have Prime or Netflix if you have streaming. So anyway, I would recommend this if you like American horror, if you like mainstream thrillers, if you like supernatural thrillers, if you don't mind reading subtitles, because yes, there are subtitles. Although something that is interesting to me, not knowing a lot about Indian culture, there's a lot of English in these movies. India was a British colony for a long time, so there are times where you're reading subtitles for the film, but you might get a sentence in English, which is like this little oasis of not having to read subtitles for an English speaker, or a couple of words of the sentence will be in English. So there is a little English here and there if you pine for it over the course of the 2 or so hours of the film. Indian films also tend to be rather long for our taste, although, as I like to say, if you're used to watching any American sci-fi or superhero movie, you're used to movies that are 2.5, 3 hours. So this was 2 hours and 12 minutes. So that's actually not that long compared to a lot of American movies or Indian movies these days. They're never boring. They know how to plot a film in India so that they use up that running time without wasting time or repeating themselves, or all the things that I find sins of non-Indian films that are overlong. They never seem to do it, and they always have the intermission at some point in the film, which they never follow through on in American theaters. It'll come up to a really good dramatic point, a really good cliffhanger, and it'll say interval or intermission and fade to black, and then immediately fade back up again and continue the movie. But anyway, very good film. SHAITAAN, if you want to look for it. I would recommend it in theaters, well, recently, on streaming very soon.